Now we ask you, brothers and sisters, to acknowledge those who work hard among you, who care for you in the Lord and who admonish you. Hold them in the highest regard and love because of their work. Live in peace with each other, and we urge you, brothers and sisters, warn those who are idle and disruptive, encourage the disheartened, help the weak, be patient with everyone. Make sure that nobody pays back wrong for wrong, but always strive to do what is good for each other and for everyone else. Hello, hello, welcome to another Bible video. Disclaimer before we start talking about the word of the Lord. My upstairs neighbor is currently going through renovations on her apartment. So, like, you're probably gonna hear a boss saw, a drill. So, I do apologize if you hear that, but that's been happening for like a week now. And I also make a disclaimer on stream, but just a disclaimer so, like, in case the noise bothers you, I'm very sorry, but not much I can do. I understand that she wants to, um, renovate and change things. So if you do hear a loud sound, I'll stop. Maybe I'll pause and cut out the video. But yeah, just that disclaimer. So yeah, another Bible video. We're unofficially calling them that now. I've been calling them. My voice just cracked. Apologies. I've been calling them that like since the second one. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, last week we had a beautiful word that the viewer redeemed on my channel. It was chapter 1 of Timothy. Um, it was first of Timothy, chapter 4:12, I believe. I will have to go back and check. And today we're looking at first of Thessalonians, chapter 5, from 12 to 15. And of course, as you probably see in the title, this is um the section that has do not pay back wrong for wrong. And I chose this passage because I feel like it's something I should talk about. I tend to talk about things that happen often in real life via like Bible passages. So I find a Bible passage, like for example, last week we talked about people looking down on young people, just for the mere fact of being young. And I feel like I should talk about that not only because it's something that still happens, but also for personal experience. I also bring personal experience. The reason why I bring personal experience sometimes into these videos is because I there's no act. It's not like when I'm streaming or talking to somebody, like I do a funny voice or something. No, it's just me. This isn't Julius talking here on the videos. This is me. This is Santiago, and I feel like it should be that way because there shouldn't be, shouldn't be a current. I'm not a cheater. I'm talking about possibly the most important thing in my life, which is the word of the Lord, which got it. And so I just try to be as transparent as possible. And I've found that a great way to be transparent, to be like direct with people, and do my best to not slur my words and like get the message across, is talking via like personal experiences. And this is well, I wouldn't say it's a personal experience I've had recently, but it's something that it has happened a lot, especially especially when you're young. And it's when someone commits an act of unfairness, an act of injustice, and you don't know any better. You don't know any better, and you let the rage get a hold of you. And we all know that whenever rage gets a hold of us, we don't do wise things. Not really. And I chose it because of that. So of that like sentence of do not pay back or like wrong for wrong. So sort of like to say, of an eye for an eye and all that. And I feel like that's something that happens a lot lately. And if it's happened, countless times, it's happened in the Bible. But just because something happens constantly doesn't mean we should get used to it. Like something can happen a lot, but we can still point out, hey, I don't think this is right. And I don't believe that, like answering violence with violence is the right thing, or wrong for wrong, injustice with injustice, murder with murder. And it's a controversial topic because, well, and a lot of these things I talk about, they've been going around for a long time. You probably know about them, but humanity has always believed itself worthy of deciding who dies or who doesn't, of being judge, jury, and executioner. It's the reason why the Lord, gave us the commandment, gave us the law of do not condemn others, or you too will be condemned. And I don't think it's something that we should do, but we do it anyway. But hopefully, by pointing it out, maybe at least one person will realize that it's wrong, that it shouldn't be that way. Of course, a lot of people know that it's not alright, but I mean, like someone who watches the videos. But yeah, we see a lot of things on this passage. I've always said that Paul's books are some of my favorite. I believe they are really good to get an understanding of life. The whole Bible really is, but Paul goes through so much hardship, and despite all his hardship, he his books, his passages, his verses are some of the most wisdom riddled like pages on the Bible. So if you haven't read the book of Thessalonians or any of the books of Paul, please, like I don't care if you have to pause the video, pause it, go read the passage on your own, or go read the whole chapter. And I think it's just he's just a wonderful, 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 um, wonderful person, and probably one of the strongest apostles. And we not only talk about wrong for wrong in this chapter, but we in well not this chapter but the subtitles. This is the end of chapter 5. But we also talk about like things, for example, acknowledge the hard work of those around you, and it's not just talking about like because it says brothers and sisters, so the hard work of your brother and your sister in Christ, but also people around you. We tend to get so wrapped up in our own web and our own things that we forget that like there's other people who are also like giving their all, that are also just being there, to the nail, doing their best to like just you know to help you, to help everyone. And there's also like warn those who are idle and disruptive, and I think that's also important. And especially what comes after this is also important, but we'll talk about this first. The warn those who are idle and disrupted, like, and it's one of those verses, one of those sentences that can be taken either way. Like some people could still warn us, oh, I gotta go talk to them every 5 minutes, this and that. But I feel like this means more like, hey, like just talking to somebody, hey, how are you doing? Are you right? Are things okay? Like I haven't seen you around a lot, or you haven't looked very well. You have looked tired. You have looked beaten. And a lot of people would say, well, everyone's allowed to live their own life, but when you are on the path of the Lord, I feel like you have a duty to like if you see something, like for example, someone's not doing well, someone's sick, someone's just going through a really rough time, and they're not themselves. Maybe they're drinking, maybe they're consuming, or they're just very mean, they're just very angry, and I don't you like it doesn't hurt to talk to them. It doesn't hurt to sit down and, hey, I haven't, and don't word it like in a way of being offended, or like like a sort of like talking down on them. Not more like a concern, like, hey, hi, are you alright? Is everything okay? You look, you haven't looked like yourself lately. Like, things been rough? Has something happened? Anything I can help with? And also the disheartened must be encouraged, and I think that's also pretty important, especially nowadays. I've always talked about this. I've talked about it so much that I'm probably a broken record, but I feel like a lot of people nowadays are more disheartened than they were before. And I feel like we've also developed this like culture, this thing of if someone is disheartened, then let them, like, he who doesn't work shall not eat. And like we're too busy with our own stuff to be babysitting, like, or like the streamer culture. Ah, man, don't come trauma dump in my chat, like that's not my job. And I always tell people on my stream, man, guys, if there's anything you want to talk about, like, like I'm getting paid for playing video games. Like, one of the least things I could do is listen to somebody how they're doing. A lot of people would be like, but it's not about that, it's about like your mental health. Yeah, But like I said, I'm a son of the Lord. I have to have a strong mental health. I have to give it my all, even when I don't have it all. So I do my best to like, hey, if anyone is doing wrong, if everyone is if anyone's having a rough time, and these Bible videos like just came out of that. Like I wanted to preach the way of the Lord in a way that made people comfortable, because I felt like Christianity lately, Christianity has always had like extremist and like extreme parts, but I feel like lately like people have used Christianity for racism, for discrimination, for just horrible things that are the opposite of what the holy book, the law of the Lord says. So I I was like, I want to, I want to fulfill the mission the Lord has given me. I want to have, like, like, fulfill His purpose. And I thought of how, like, to do that, and I thought of these Bible videos and started doing them. Ever since, I don't want to stop doing them, because it's not just helping like someone feel comfortable, it's also helping me talk to people about the Lord. I don't talk about the Lord to a lot of people because of what I said. A lot of Christian people have given Christianity like sort of a bad perspective, like, oh, they're just extremists, they're just people who say they're nice, but they're actually like a wolf in sheep's clothing and all that. So I started doing these videos because I wanted to change that outlook. And of course, before we deviate ourselves from the topic any longer, yeah, like, wrong for wrong is, as redundant as it may sound, it's wrong. And it's a difficult thing to say, because there's a lot of horrible things that people do on this earth, and they'll keep getting worse. And of course, like, Julius, you can't say that, like, that's not hopeful. It's not hopeful, but it's the truth. And I will not lie. I will not lie to you. I cannot lie. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not kill. So it's very hard to, for example, oh, dude, this guy stole from me. This guy killed someone I care about. This guy did this horrible act that's so horrible I can't even say it on YouTube. But like, it's just not our it's not our duty. Vengeance is mine alone. Vengeance is only the Lord's, like, no one else's. And like, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit violence. And of course, you may have a different version of Christianity, but that's my version. Because there's so many. We have the Adventists, we have the Pentecost. I think that's how it's in English. Sorry, I don't. I should look up the different like Bible. You have the Jehovah Witness, and it's different, like, people with different ways. And but I am from the Four Square, which, we don't believe like in violence. We don't believe in cruelty and in paying back evil with evil, or cruelty with cruelty, pain with pain. We don't endorse that. That's not right. But it's a difficult thing, no matter what, like, Christianity you are, because like, we as humans are wired with thousands of feelings. And when it's just common, it's just human commonness, that when someone or someone you care about faces injustice, faces violence, of course you're gonna feel angry. Of course you're gonna feel that impulse of responding back with anger, with, ah, man, this guy punched my friend, I'm gonna punch him back. And it's very hard to not do that. But sometimes it's better to like, especially when it happens to you alone, like no one else, it happens to you, take a step back, look at how things are. Like, what do you think is gonna happen once you, like, enact violence upon that person? How you're gonna feel? You know, what's that gonna build? What's that gonna, like, you know, what foundations is that gonna put down? What if there's someone watching you, like, like, maybe not an elderly person, but maybe a kid, and he sees you like, oh, that guy punched that guy, so that guy punched that guy, so it's okay to punch people who punch me. And of course, I'm not telling you to not fight back in a life of death scenario. No, no. If you're being attacked and your life is in danger, you're allowed to, like, push somebody and, like, like, do your best to like, run away. But, like, I'm talking about, like, like, in a control setting, like, oh, I'm at the supermarket and this guy, like, shoulder robs me, and, oh man, I've had such a rough day, so I start getting angry. and it's just a very difficult thing. It's just very complicated to keep a check of our emotions, keep a check of ourselves, and it definitely takes a while to be that wise person, to be that better man. And of course, like I said, I feel like it's a culture that like we're spreading now more than ever. Like like screw being the better person. Sorry for the language. Dude, like to hell with being the better person. Like this and that. Like I want to commit violence. I woke up and I chose violence. Like I don't think it should be that way. When you respond to violence with violence, you don't build anything. There's nothing. There's no walls, there's no pillars, there's no foundations. When you look back at that once you're older or a couple weeks later, maybe you feel ashamed. And some people might say, nah, I won't feel ashamed. I don't regret my choices. But even the most powerful men and women will regret their choices one day. One day. So yeah. And of course, the verse, the passage is followed by do what is good for each other and everyone else. And yeah, that's what you should do. Do what is good for your brothers and sisters and for those who are not your brothers and sisters in the Lord. Don't deny someone care or food or water just because they insulted you. Human beings are not intelligent. I know I am not. And sometimes you have to realize that. You have to realize that we all make mistakes. We're all flawed in our own way. We have our scars, we have our injuries, we all bleed, we all cry. It's just a matter of time before someone realizes that all I've done in my life is bleeding and making other people bleed, and I've never closed those wounds, and I've never helped people who are on the same spot as me. I've just added more firewood to the flame. And of course, at that point, you just feel regret. You just feel. And I'm not telling you that you're gonna go to hell because if you've like hit somebody who hit you. No, no, it doesn't. It's not that way. It's not. It's not like that. No, no one can condemn you. No one. No one. Only the Lord. Only the Lord has that power. No one, no human, no man, no woman can tell you that you're gonna go to hell. I did it once, and I regret. I regret deeply. I'm ashamed by it. But the Lord helps me. And little by little, he helps me carry that shame until I realize that he will forgive me. So yeah, if you've been wronged, if you have responded wrong with wrong, go talk to that person. Maybe they don't want to talk to you, but go talk to them. Get through to them. Hey, I'm sorry for not being the better person. What you did to me was bad, but I should have been better. I should have been, I should have told you that what you did was wrong, and we should have gone our separate ways. And maybe they forgive you. Maybe they realize, yeah, what I did was bad, and I also forgive you. Or maybe they don't, but that's okay. Not everyone's gonna forgive you. You can't please everybody, unfortunately, but you can't. So yeah, that will be all for today. Let me know if there's a topic you will like me to cover on these Bible videos. Maybe a passage, maybe a verse, a chapter, an apostle. Maybe someone from the Bible. So yeah, as always, I will leave in the description the website I use. Bible Gateway is the one I use to read the Bible in English and all the different versions of the Bible. There's the New International Version, the King's James version, and of course, the website I use for my daily Bible verses that I put on my status and all that. It's really neat. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video brought some peace to you. Maybe made you realize something that you were missing, or calm those uncertainties that you felt. And don't worry, it's not an easy path. It's not easy. Everyone always says that Christian people are just wolves in sheep's clothing, or that we're bad people that just pretend to be good. And some Christians are like that, unfortunately. But the battle you go through, if you have accepted the Lord in your heart, it's a tough battle. But He has been in the world. I have been in the world, He says on His word. So if He has been in the world, you have nothing to fear. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If a family member or you are going through something difficult, maybe you're sick, maybe you lost somebody, I'm truly sorry. And I hope that the Lord fills that void in your heart with His love, with His glory, that you are able to feel His embrace, that He wipes the tears off your face, and that you can rest. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye bye.